Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku. No Isekai ni Iku? Is there two no's in the title, or just a single one? Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku. There's no, actually. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm a little tired, a little sleepy, so do forgive me slip-ups like that. Regardless, episode 3 of Benriya Saitou-san, Handyman Saitou in Another World, and absolutely no predictions as to what's going to happen today, because this show is unpredictable. It doesn't follow any timeline, right? It doesn't follow any coherent story. It's just a bunch of tiny little vignettes that connect into something bigger, but they aren't necessarily chronological. There isn't any overarching story. We don't even know how Saitou got here. Well, a little bit. We don't even know how they met, right? So kind of hard to make any predictions as to what's going to happen. As to what happened in the previous episode, well, we got a little bit of a backstory on the ferry. We got Saitou dead and revived thanks to Raelza, who gave up her ability, her possibility in the future to get rid of her scars to save Saitou, which is a very nice gesture. And I don't think Saitou minds the scar, so she doesn't really need to remove it as it is. But of course, she is feeling insecure about it. Anything else important that happened? Well, we of course got to see what Raelza wears underneath the armor. That was very important. And besides that, not really. We didn't really get... Oh, and of course, the Elven Warrior and the Cleric Girl. You cannot forget that, of course. It needs to be mentioned that it did indeed happen. So, yeah. Besides that, nothing else really that comes to mind that was super significant, and nothing that might have any repercussions in the future, in today's episode or in the future episodes. So I think I should just stop talking and we should just start watching, right? There isn't much to talk, there isn't much to predict, so you're gonna need your subs. And why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? You're gonna need your subs to follow along. Of course, I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. And you guys, I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support me monetarily if you want Patreon, Throne, links in the description below. Or if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. Costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 3 of Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, starting with the OP. That logo, by the way, was a bitch to place on the on the thumbnail. It's so bulky and square. Also, Raelza made it to top 10, 15, something like that, of best girls in the recent week. Some anime chart kind of thing. So, hey, she deserves it. This anime still seems to be a dark horse of the season. Not many people talk about it. I haven't seen particularly much fan art either, which is surprising, especially after what happened in episode 2, right? Maybe I'm just not looking well enough. But the fact that Raelza made it to like top 10 or top 15 or whatever, I mean, that says something. There's so many waifus each season, and she made it. Okay. Great Labyrinth. Marriage consultancy. Okay. Of course. Okay. A dating service that also serves as getting you party members. Okay. Hey, you go. Hmm. Raelza? No, Morlock. Okay. Okay, Morlock being Morlock. What were you doing there, Raelza? I guess she was in the weapons shop. Succubus, okay. Green skin. Fairly unusual for a succubus. And it's a very 90s anime design. Like she's straight from Tulavru. And the succubus is dead. Because Raelza won't allow it. Yeah. Just like that. Don't kill her. She can join your party or something. Who's the monster here? Those are some cute noises she was making. Oh, he's still charmed, but the object of the charm has switched. Do you want him to stop? Cabedon? Cabedon. Okay. The place is the issue, not the act. I mean, at least he found a wife. Yeah. Ever the charmer. To get turned down by a fucking succubus. Israel's gonna have to get undressed. Is that gonna be a running gag? Strip. That isn't helping. Okay. Handyman Raelza. Of course. Although it was supposed to shock you only if you were wearing armor, and he wasn't wearing it technically. Ooh, okay. That's a cool... It was too large to be called... I noticed that. Was that a Berserk reference? I mean, when you have a staff this large, you can just smack people. Although, how's that gonna work in a forest, exactly? I guess it's still a staff, so he probably can chant something. Oh, or do that. Sure, that also works. What a cast of characters we're having. What if you step on your own shadow? And why are you killing random people? Oh, interesting. I guess you stepping on shadows constantly is also your weak point. Okay. I guess she's the character and not the ninja. Shadow connected to the demon realm, though. That's interesting. Okay. He now has allies. How'd you do that, though? You made her spill her groceries, though. I mean, that's one way to assault someone. Probably not the kind of assault that he's used to, though. Hero? Okay, still searching for hero candidates? I mean, yeah, true. You want to be a hero? Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. I love this kingdom. He's gonna pull a muscle or... No, okay. He looks like a extremely generic JRPG protagonist. Okay, picking party members. Yeah. Cute above everything. Monpui. We did see him in the um like oh, a nephew. Okay. Nepotism. Yeah, that's on brand. Curling. Uh, Hero Tube. Oh my god. What's going on? Oh, oh Jesus, in the comments. Oh. That's probably Necronomicon or something. What's that? Oh, it's a dick. It's Morlock's personal dildo. Pokemon root mushroom. Okay. Okay. I mean, I. Yeah, I don't want to continue that thought that I had. Ooh. You're gonna need to find one hell of a blacksmith. Some blacksmith they know, okay. But he can unretire for this one last job. I mean, they can be picked, so probably not an issue for Saito. You have experience. Just like that. Fucking lockpicking a lawyer. What would it be? New set of picks? What did you want him to make? Does Saito want to make guns? Yep. Yeah. You don't need any particular skill to use a gun. And if we're talking about a simple flintlock or a blunderbuss or something, then why the hell not? Yeah, she's out cold. Yeah, become the gun hero. Oh, is another world's cold deadlier than Japanese cold? Is Elsa gonna make some porridge? Yeah. There's been a trend in isekais recently where the main protagonist is useful because they are useful, because they have like skills that can boost others, or they are great at tactics but useless in actual battle. Half a year, huh? Okay. So we're gonna get a backstory on how he got isekai'd. Yep. And he did. Truck-kun transported him to another world where he was needed the most. Oh, and he landed straight in Raelsa's bed. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of how it all started. Do you know something? Okay, just like that. So the concept of isekai people already exists in this world? Or is it just something... Yeah, she's targeting him, but in a different way. Can't go close to another girl. Magic. Okay, so probably clockwork. Or some sorts of like pistons and stuff. Is it more clockpunk or is it more dieselpunk? Okay, so entry into the dungeons costs money. Who's restocking the chests, though? And who's trapping them? Conveniently, here comes another one. A miniature? A Roomba, okay. A dungeon Roomba. Did it get isekai'd as well? Or is it the caretaker of the dungeon? Someone has to be removing all the monster corpses and blood and stuff, right? Secret door? Can you pick a rock wall? Okay, that makes it easier. Okay, what's behind the door? Electronics store, a passage to Saitou's world, a trove of Roombas. More dungeon, okay. And that revitalized the dungeon? Yep. Exactly. And that's it. Yet again, it felt like no time at all. Why do you want that vacuum, though? Because it's something from your world? Oh, there's the heavy mage. There's this party. And those two. And the grandpa. And the heroes party. Okay, that's where we meet. Makes sense. Okay, the ending is a banger. Okay, so this is more or less where the story actually starts, isn't it? Because we have a more or less coherent storyline that we can follow, right? Exploring the new floors of the dungeon. We had the entire cast of characters introduced. We had them all meet up. So I'm assuming from this point on, we're going to be following more of a standard storyline. Perhaps still in the vignette formula, but we will be able to actually see some sort of a progression. That's my prediction, at least. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And what we will see right now is the same video, the same episode again, because we're gonna go through it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. You don't get to decide. It's not recorded live. I mean, you can always click off the video, but why would you? OP. Yeah, we see all the characters in the opening. The heroes party, the dungeon, the witch. Yeah, that's the witch who had her shadow connected to the demon realm, and she's taking care of a fairy or something. Marriage consultancy. Interesting that marriage consultancy place also doubles for selecting party members. That's actually cool, and that actually kind of makes sense. The way we have agencies like that in our real world, and we have dating apps and stuff, makes sense that they would have something similar for party members. I mean, right? Usually party members in shows like those and in manga and in light novels are formed pretty much randomly. The characters just meet each other and that's that. There isn't usually any service, any bureau, anything like that that helps adventurers connect and assemble parties and stuff like that. Which is interesting. You'd think there would be some series that has something like that in it, but I can't recall any. If you know of any series that actually has something that helps adventurers find other adventurers to join their party, do let me know, because I'd be curious to read it. And of course, he would prefer someone in their 20s. But he's old and he's low level, so his level doesn't match the age. I'm assuming the closer your level is to your age, the better. and it's best if your level exceeds your age. Interesting. There are some interesting like societal tidbits in the show. I didn't leave my rooms until my mid-30s, so he was a hikikomori and living off tendies. I mean, at least he's fairly in shape. Knight's stamina decreases with age, as does the demand. Again, makes sense. And of course, Saito would be self-conscious about it because he's in his, what, late 20s, I'm assuming, early 20s? I don't know, something like that. And he's probably level like 3 or 5 or something like that. So the discrepancy is quite big. I don't think anybody minds, though. Kingdom is pretty peaceful. The amount of weapons and magic that anyone can use has increased. So now women can go adventuring too. Does it imply that there was a scarcity of weapons? And somehow scarcity of magic? Or was the scarcity of weapons perhaps caused by a war? And what was scarcity of magic caused by? Is it something that just happens? That on average nowadays in this world people are more often born with magic than not? The same way in our world, on average, people are getting taller and taller? Maybe. I don't know. It could have some interesting implications for this world as a whole. Social progress for women, indeed. And the treasure in the labyrinth has been exhausted. Okay, so there isn't anybody who restocks it. There are just treasure chests, and if you find it and you empty it, you leave behind an empty chest, and that's that. There isn't anything new to be found. It doesn't restock. You need to delve deeper and deeper into the dungeon if you want to find more and more treasure. Makes sense, okay. Adventurous income has decreased, that's another reason. Okay, so empowering women, depowering men, kind of sort of deal. And those are the core reasons it's hard to find a marriage partner. And also, I'm assuming lower income for adventurers, so lower security, they can't like buy a house and they can't afford to have a kid, yada yada yada. And of course, Morlock would be here, and of course he would do the exact wrong thing here. Thankfully, Raelza was visiting the weapons shop. Interesting that she was visiting it. This succubus lady, she has a very, I said 90s anime design, but no, it goes like even earlier than that. It's a very like 80s, 70s kind of a design. With this a little bit oversized chin, with kind of weird colors, with pink hair, that's a classic, with this sort of an eye shape. What was the show that had similar art style? I'm not gonna find it now, but there were plenty. Was it Devilman? No, Devilman had a completely different art style. Although the original Devilman, that's kinda sorta closer to it, yeah. The original Devilman. But only kinda sorta. Only kinda sorta. But this time period, around this time period. I really do like this design. Very interesting, as I mentioned, that YouTube don't ban, please. That her skin is green and not red. Usually demon folk have either human-colored skin or shades of gray or shades of red. She's just green with pink hair. I think that's another thing that makes me see her design as very early anime, because they kind of weren't afraid of clashing colors. Nowadays, most anime fits some complementary palette right? There aren't really any characters that would have clashing, contrasting colors to them. Early on in the anime, it was fairly common to have someone who had like a blue skin and orange hair or something like that. That clashes. And the same goes for green skin and pink hair. It clashes. It's kind of a hallmark of that era of anime. Of course, he got charmed, but thankfully Rael's ex machina. And yeah, here's the question: who's the monster? Raelza just goes berserk, and meanwhile the succubus just runs away, making some cute noises. Interesting that the effect of charm spell lingers. Also, Raelza armpit. That it lingers, that, and it doesn't. The subject of that spell, or rather the object of that spell, the object of desire of the subject of that spell, is not the caster, but rather whoever the charmed person lays their eyes on. It works more like less like a charm spell, more like an aphrodisiac, where you're gonna go after whoever's in your vicinity. Maybe. The charm magic indeed. Kabedon. The classic Kabedon. Not here. Again, the location is the issue, not the act. La Fanpan, you... I love her. I love every single character in this show. And of course, Morlock would try to charm the succubus. Single flower blooming in the lower levels of the labyrinth. And she's kind of rolling with it, interestingly enough. She's not trying to attack them or anything. Lots of magic power comes out of me. Suck it up. I mean, whatever you're into, Morlock. You're into sucking weirdly shaped mushrooms, so it's not really surprising, is it? Wear this. Okay. Someone's probably gonna post a stitch of this on Reddit, or rather already posted because this episode has aired like a week ago. Handyman Raelza in another world. She does look good. She does look good in work clothes. Interesting how they fit over her chest, though. And of course, he forgot how the trap works. Oh, I love this guy. Power Wizard. Yeah, when you have a staff big like this, you don't need to cast, you don't need to chant. It was far too large to be called abbreviated. What was it? How did it go? It was far too large to be called a staff. Okay, there we go. That thing was too big to be called a staff. Too big, too thick, too heavy, and too rough. It was more like a large hunk of world tree. And that's exactly what it is. Grandpa is hella strong if he's able to swing it like that, though. And it's animated on once to give that little bit of speed to the movement. That's cool. Reciting incantations is too much work. I love him. I love this archetype of just a melee wizard. He casts Fist. We have a heavy armored shielder, dwarven mage, and now we have a light armor, mace-wielding wizard grandpa. The archetypes in this show are amazing. I love it. I love that they're not going for the for the simple archetypes. A guy with a sword, a guy with an axe, a guy with a staff. Sorry, a girl with a staff. Right? But they're trying to spice things up. The elven warrior has like claws and spikes everywhere. Rael's heavy armored warrior wielding a Zweihander. This guy uses a staff like a mace, right? The creator of this series is trying to spice things up, and I love it. I love how creative it is. And the Heroes Party, I'm assuming that's going to be our standard classic JRPG party. But I'm assuming there's also going to be a spin put on that. Sorry, there already has been. But I'm assuming the Heroes Party is gonna be kind of like, maybe not the butt of the joke, but there's gonna be some like wink wink nudge nudge, right? You know, it's the trope, but we're gonna do something else about it, probably. And yeah, that's an issue. What do you do when you're in a forest and you can't swing it around freely? Well, thankfully the other end of it is sharp, so we can just use it as a spear. That's great. I really thought he's gonna chant something because it's still a staff, but no. He's just gonna use it as a lance, more like than a spear. Ninja who possesses an amazing special skill. Shadow binding. That's a very Ninja Slayer design to him. Is it Ninja Slayer? Been a while since I've seen Ninja Slayer. No, it's like the exact opposite of Ninja Slayer design. It's the exact opposite of it. What am I even talking about? But yeah, very classic ninja. But even then, bit of a spin on it. Bit of a spin on his weapons. They're not just katanas. There's like a short wakizashi attached to the other end. Makes sense for an assassin kind of type. You can use the one end to do assassiny things, and the other end to do direct combat kind of deal. Maybe, I don't know. But it's a weapon that befits an assassin, for sure. And he found his nemesis. A witch whose shadow is connected to the demon realm. I mean, a witch, just a woman. And he returned from hell with a couple of demons who were treating him as a boss. Who is this guy to be able to befriend demons like that? Nullify teleportation. No, the baguette. The baguette! Thankfully, he didn't want to assassinate her. He just wanted to assault her. Two different things. Okay, and he fell in love, because that's actually a curious trope. Falling in love with the biggest nemesis. Right? Something that can completely foil your plans. It's a fairly common trope, right? Like a fire wizard falling in love with a water witch, or a guy who can utilize shadows to stop people from going somewhere, falling in love with a girl whose shadow is connected to the demon realm, right? It's cool. And even they are shocked, because of course. Picking parties, swiping through them like on Tinder. His face isn't bad. Yeah, anyone will do. You don't have a Demon King. I love this bit. I really do love this bit. Big ass sign, only the hero can draw the sword, and it's just clamped into a vice, so nobody can pull it. Unless someone underneath actually frees the sword. It's great. Amazing. I love it. And she can do anything except ice. Interesting limitation. I wonder when that's going to come into play. That she can't do ice. But yeah, she's cute, and that's what matters, right? The rule of cute, not even the rule of cool. The rule of cute. And she's not gonna fight the dragon because it's a lizard, of course. The idol haughty Ojo-sama kind of a character. That's cool. That's a cool spin. I mean, is it a spin on the mage? They usually are fairly standoffish characters in shows like that. Monpui, abilities below average. But he's the nephew, so of course we gotta make sure you add a girl to the party. And this live broadcast of the hero's party journey via crystal ball. Curling with a frozen slime. People are watching, liking, disliking, subscribing. There isn't a demon king. The priest is definitely looking at the magician's panties. Look closer, she's wearing skin-toned legging. Oh, that's interesting. You're not using the legendary sword. Quit slacking off, you pieces of trash. And he's just in his, I don't know, whatchamacallit, his, fuck. It's like a comforter, but a tube. Bed bag? No. Bed. Why am I missing this word? Not a bed bag. Is it a bed bag? No, it can't be. Wait, I need to Google it because it's gonna bother me. Bed bag. Oh, bed bug as in bed bugs. No, it can't be a bed bug. Sleeping bag. Is it just called a sleeping bag? It is just called a sleeping bag. Okay, yeah, he's just tied with... No, he's not tied with any rope. He's just comfy in his sleeping bag. Boobs, boobs. I seriously can't support them anymore. I have more awareness of your position as a hero. And there's some drama going on in the background. I heard there's a party, so I came on over. Feel so bad for Monpui. Children are watching it too. Who's talking in the lines down below? I can't figure it out. Oh, is it the voices of the hero and the wizard girl getting comfy with each other? I think that's what it is. So it's just turned into a big brother. Annihilate the trash, Monpui accepted. And of course he's stealing a glance. Everybody feels for Monpui. This is the Holy Night Monpui channel. Starting next week, having just Monpui will be fine. He became the most popular character. It was all a plot by Monpui to get revenge for the daily mistreatment he suffered. They really don't care about the hero and the slut anymore. Yeah, so it is the hero and the wizard girl. To be honest, I fapped Raichi. Okay. And inside is a dick-shaped mushroom. I'm glad they put the annotation that this is indeed a mushroom. It's Morlock's mushroom. Cocky Manroot. What a name. I mean, it is apt. Don't get me wrong, but... delicacy among delicacies. And it apparently doesn't spoil, so because you can just store it in a book. And to eat it, you suck on it. Oh my god. I didn't expect those things from this show. I mean, okay, to be fair, in the first episode, we did get a backstory on the unit of measurement they use in this world. So I probably could expect some dick jokes here and there. And Raelza also wants some. Where is mine? Still attached to Saitou. The addictive properties of this mushroom were so strong that later it became a regulated substance. Okay. Wire cutters broke. I mean, yeah, he would be super depressed. Far as he's concerned, you can't really recreate glorious Nihon steel folded 1,000 million times in this world, right? Or rather, like industrial grade steel. But thankfully, there's a smith among smiths. Dwarf who can create anything from armor for little people to shields for giants. Since he's so quick at his work, customers said, "Don't charge so much for such a simple job, it's unfair." I think Saitou can relate, because he dealt with the exact same situation and the exact same kind of people. So he retired, shut himself behind 108 keys, 108 locks. Thankfully, Saitou is a handyman. Saitou is a lockpicking lawyer, so of course he opened the door. 108 locks. It's quite a challenge. Not enough of a challenge for the disciple of the lockpicking lawyer, though. Mithril silver. I'm assuming it's more resistant, more reliable than the steel it was made of. If he has this much skill, then I was wondering initially what Saitou might have wanted. Some sort of a tool, maybe a second pair of pliers, maybe some armor for himself, maybe, something like that. But no, he just wanted a gun. Makes sense. What do we have on the table? Wine, of course. The beans are... I don't know what the beans are. Is it like... what's it called? Natto? Although natto is usually brown-ish, not yellow, so probably beans in some sauce. Sausages with vegetable curry. Slices of beef or some sort of beef jerky. Fish. More beans up top or peanuts. Buns. And on the left, I know, unidentified substance. Women, children, and even the powerless could easily obtain weapons that could kill. What would you think of that? I mean, they already kinda can obtain swords. Then again, to use a sword, you need to have some sort of training, and you need to get close to an enemy at least. With a gun, you just pull it out, bam bam, and the enemy is dead. Then again, if you make something simple like a flintlock, or something like this that still uses a wick to fire it, that shouldn't be too bad. Although interesting, why does it have a wick and a trigger? You either fire it by lighting the wick and waiting for it to burn to reach the gunpowder and explode, or you fire it with the trigger that moves the hammer, and the hammer strikes the striker, causes a spark, that spark transfers into gunpowder and fires. This gun has a wick, has a trigger, and has the hammer looking thing at the back, which isn't how flintlocks work. So it's a modern gun, but uses a wick, and it's a black powder gun. Someone didn't do their homework on guns, on flintlocks and stuff. But yeah, it is a valid concern not wanting to introduce them to this world. Also a valid concern, does black powder exist in this world or any other sort of an explosive? Of course, the second best option would be learning to use a sword. And there's some very interesting swords hanging on the wall. I think I do want a gun after all. Hopefully you get one. Also, an interesting thing I noticed, how every scene has a certain palette to it, and how everybody takes a bit of... I don't want to say every scene is monochromatic, but every scene does look kind of monochromatic. I kind of like this effect. Right, everything is kind of whitish and bluish in this scene. Oranges here, browns. More oranges because they're inside. Now we have some clinical whiteness and very clinical, like bluish green colors. It's cool. I like this art. I like the art style of the show. Not having specific medicine, of course. Yeah, there's no medicine for cold. There's a saying in Poland that cold, when treated, lasts 7 days, and when untreated, lasts a week. So, I'm useless in battle. Anyway, not really. This is a new bit that he protects Lavanpan. We knew that he remembers incantations. He also carries some weapons for Raelza, which is also interesting. That he can even carry them. He needs to be a little bit strong. Yeah, he can just enjoy some tangerines. The bit about how he arrived. And him coming here from another world is not a secret, which is interesting. Usually they do keep it a secret. Not in this case. He was fired and got hit by a truck. And landed in bed with Raelza, which is, I guess, when Raelza got imprinted on him. I don't sense any magic power at all from that man. He might be from another world. Interesting that they have a concept of people from another world. It doesn't seem to be a sole occurrence that Saito got isekai'd. There are also other people who do get isekai'd every now and then. The shop girl isn't surprised by it. Morlock instantly recognizes it. Raelza doesn't seem particularly taken aback by it either. And her mind is constantly on assassination. Maybe she's an assassin. Maybe she's been trained as an assassin and now she decided to retire from being an assassin and open a store, and she's a secret badass. Probably. Actually, I have my green book for something, right? And it's not for storing mushrooms. Manroot cock something. Jesus. This is Kaina. I'm gonna use maybe this bit. Sure, that'll work. Pum pum pum. Saito-san. Shop girl is a retired assassin, parenthesis, secret badass. I wonder. And of course, Raelza is jealous. Because how dare Saito speak to another woman? Looking for the golem. Interesting that it had a motor. I wonder if there is some, like, past... whatchamacallit? Past civilization kind of thing going on. Some old civilization built the dungeons for whatever reason, and there is some super advanced technology in there. Well, super advanced for this world, like clockwork golems and stuff. Or perhaps someone else got isekai'd and was able to give them the knowledge to create golems. Someone else got isekai'd and brought knowledge. There we go. There was the motor inside. Interesting. We have an old geezer with us. Give us a discount. You can get a discount by apparently bringing old adventurers in. There's a yearly pass. Interesting. There aren't as many adventurers coming either. Yeah, if the chests have been cleared out and the whole dungeon has been mapped out, what reason is there to delve into it, right? Maybe kill some monsters, but I can't imagine killing monsters and bringing in their parts makes much money, at least not as much as finding treasure. Someone might have taken it home, probably. There's something I did not expect a Roomba. I expected like some tiny little robot. Not a Roomba though. How did he lose a grip on it, and how did it run away? And is it CG or not? That's also tripping me up. Maybe rotoscoped CG? I don't know. Probably CG. I don't know. And I don't want to know. Let's not dwell on it. Is it a Roomba from his world, or is it otherworldly Roomba, a Roomba from this world that someone made? Maybe someone who came here from Japan as well. Because regular Roomba would not shake itself out of someone's grip, would it? I can't imagine Roombas are particularly strong or like super shaky. Never had one, but... Is that truly something from a world? Yeah. Magical camouflage. I'm glad we actually see in action how Saito reminds Morlock the incantations. I expected something like one and done kind of deal. That they're gonna find maybe a room in the dungeon where a random goblin neat sits around with waifu pillows plastered on the walls and plays Smite or something, and he got what do you want from me, Google Assistant? It tried to... It just does it sometimes. Where was I? Yeah, that there's gonna be someone who maybe came here from Japan, or maybe is a descendant of someone who came here from Japan, or maybe someone who has the door to Japan and can get there once a month, buy some manga and get in, and maybe run an Ethernet cable through that opening or whatever, right? This kind of a joke, or maybe a trove of Roombas or something like that. But no, it's an expansion of the labyrinth. I like it better, because there's more to be done here, and it was named after Saitou. Adventurers from all over the kingdom began to gather. Our main party, of course. The shield Mage, I love him. I love this archetype. Those two, can't wait for more of those two. Grandpa, how are you gonna fit this stuff into the labyrinth? And the hero's party. And what's the priest carrying? Is that a mace? Yeah, that's a hammer. That's a warhammer. Also, very interesting shot right here. Is this the city they live in on the left? Very interesting, because usually, okay, there is a little bit of a river, a little bit of a creek, but it looks very rocky and very deserty. Usually isekai cities are in the middle of plains with a river flowing through it, and they're round and there is a castle in the middle. This is interesting, this is unique, this is curious. And the landscape, I can't help but see the landscape, and it evokes like post-apocalyptic feel to me. It's probably not a post-apocalyptic world, but the barren wasteland really does make it seem like it is. There is some forest in the bottom right corner, though. I'm assuming a church right by the river. That's some interesting architecture. The city walls were probably built here after the dungeon, and the city was probably built here because of the dungeon. I think that's why the location is so unusual. The dungeon sprouted in the middle of nowhere. So where will the adventure city be placed? Well, right next to the dungeon. It didn't conveniently appear on the plains. It didn't conveniently appear by a lake. It appeared where it appeared, so you have to make do with what you were dealt. Makes sense. The river sure is convenient, though. The curtain rises on a new age of exploration. Thanks to Saitou-san. Benriya Saitou-san. Okay. That was episode 3 of Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku. And I want to really briefly, and I mean really briefly, take a look. Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku. Really briefly take a look at voice actors of the other characters. Is everybody listed? Everybody is listed. I don't think there's going to be many more characters appearing in this show, so Benriya Saitou. There we go. Saitou, Elsa, Lafanpan, Morlock. We went through them. Mevena, Ayaka Ohashi. Ayaka Ohashi also voiced someone in Masamune-kun no Revenge, Vodka in Umamusume, Serika in Blue Archive. Mostly gacha roles, it seems. Someone in Magica Record, Hatsune in Precon. Yeah, those are gacha roles. And a couple of anime roles as well. Got from high school. Ikitozen. Been a while since I've seen Ikitozen. I need to catch up to it because I've seen like 2 seasons of it and not much more. Someone from Recreators. Hinalogi. I watched Escalogi. Natalia. Yayaka from Flip Flappers. There we go. That's a role I finally fully recognize. Kurome from Akamenga Kire, Momoka Sabagebu. I think we did already check her out. So let's take a look at Gibungle, Jaibangle, I don't know. Koichi Soma. Koichi Soma also voiced someone in Blue Lock, Garm in Slime Ito, Slime Sekai. Who else? Paparin in TQ. Did I already check his roles? I think I might have. I think Liliza and Gibre I also checked out before. Liliza voiced... I might not have. Okay, yeah, I did. Hoshino, Nadeshiko, Ibirai, Akira. No, I didn't. I don't think. Plenty of voices I recognize. And that does it. Hinata Tadokoro voiced Tomato no Akuma Chainsaw Man. I remember that, so we probably went through him as well. Flannery and Ninya, we didn't see them. Flannery was voiced by Ruriko Aoki, is voiced by Ruriko Aoki. She has some role in Komi-san, in Move Love, in Uma Musume, Nekopara, interestingly enough, Cinderella Girls, some idol shows mostly, and Azusa Tadokoro, Texas. Okay, she voices Texas. And in this show, she voices Ninya. Yep. Texas Mifuyu from Precon, Chloe from Slime Sekai, and who else? Cruz from Arknights. Cruz and Texas have the same voice actress. That's interesting. Some idol shows. Pipimi, but who hasn't voiced Pipimi? Couple of people from Shin Nanatsu no Taizai. Okay, she has a decently large portfolio, reaching all the way back to 2012. Next we have Kainz, Raichi, and Monpui. Kainz voiced by Yoshitsugu Matsuoka, who also voiced who? That's a lot of roles. Vash from Trigun Stampede, someone in Blue Lock, Teruki from Mob Psycho, someone in Golden Kamui. Anybody else I would recognize? Jujutsu Kaisen, haven't seen it. Oh, Betelgeuse from ReZero. I'm familiar with this character from the Precon collab. Haven't seen ReZero. And then no Shobutai, Shokugeki no Soma. Yaritsukai from Goblin Slayer. Kengan Ashura. And that's about... Oh, Belle from Dungeon ni Denai. Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Riku from No Game No Life. Sora, No Game No Life. And let's scroll like far into the past. I saw some Oreimo role. And that'll do it. Yu Serizawa, who voices Raichi, also voiced someone in Isekai Smartphone got a second season. Are you shitting me? Isekai Smartphone, of all shows, the worst of the worst, gets... Jesus Christ. I lost like half my faith in humanity right now. She also is Rei in... in Watashi no Oshi wa Aiku Yaku Reijo. She also voices Ayane from Precon. Also voices Shera from Isekai Mao. Also voices... Who else that I recognize? Plenty of idol shows. Yoko Shiragami from Jitsuwa Watashi wa. Yeah, I read that correctly. And that's about it. Isekai Smartphone, Jesus. And Chikara Honda, who voices Monpui, and nobody else really. Next, we have Power Wizard. Let's talk about the characters in the parties first. Power Wizard was voiced by Ryosuke Morita, and that is his only role, at least as listed on AniList. Then we also have Mao, Osama. Okay. Mao was voiced by Shigeru Chiba, who also voices someone in High Card. Seba! Oh, voice actor of Sebas from Overlord. Interesting. How did I not recognize it? Probably because it's been a while since I've watched Overlord. Also Chidaruma from Dorodoro. Buggy from One Piece. Also Pipimi, but who hasn't voiced Pipimi again. And plenty of roles of old people, it would seem. And Katsuji Mori, who voices the king, also voiced Dr. Oak in one of the Pokemon shows, apparently. And not really Polnareff from JoJo. Some, I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't want to assume. I think that this, yeah, that's like a Gundam-ish series, I think. And all the way to 79, 77. What's the earliest? Into the 60s, started his career as Atlas from Rocket Boy, or whatever the name of that character was, in 1963. Then we have Ravella Kisurugi. Who's Kisurugi? I don't know. Ravella was voiced by Chiwa Saito, voice of Homura. Okay, voice of Wakamo from Blue Archive. Chloe. Those are some characters I recognize. Finally, Francesca from World Witches. Who else? Who else? Mostly recognizable as Homura, probably. And I think that should be it. I mean, there's plenty more roles, of course. But as I said, I don't want to spend particularly... Miku from Mitsudomoe. I don't want to spend particularly much time scrolling through those. So let's get to Kisurugi's voice actor, Jun Kasama, whoever Kisurugi is. Is that the ninja? Maybe. Voiced Wilbard from Yojo Senki. Okay. Finally someone I recognize. Nimble Arc from Overlord. And that's it. Next we have Donbane Oba-san. Oh, she's even listed. Shacho is listed. I don't really want to check them out, but sure, we're checking out everybody, so why not? Donbane voiced by Kensuke Shimizu. Also voiced nobody I would recognize. Someone in Maho no Tabitai, Monhei C, so some characters C. Oba-san Mika Kanda. Shacho Yuya Murakami. Mika Kanda also voiced someone in Escalogy, no Atelier, and someone in Yagate ni Kimi ni Naru, Yagate Kimi ni Naru. And Yuya Murakami also voiced Plenty of characters without even any images. Kamijo in Kiseiju, I guess, some minor role in that show. And someone in Toaruma Jutsu no Index 2. And finally we have Boukensha and Hydra. Boukensha voiced by Takayuki Miyamoto, who also voiced Doctor in Yu-Gi-Oh!, whoever that is, and Tadashi Makino, who just voiced the Hydra. There we go. And fucking Isekai Smartphone second season. Jesus Christ, why? Why not some better show? Give me anything, honestly. Oh boy. Okay, that was episode 3 of Benriya Saitou-san and Isekai ni Iku. And what can I say? It was great. I really did enjoy, again, the world building that it gave us with the marriage bureau, or whatever it was called. We now also know a little better how the dungeon works. Dungeons, or I mean, at least singular dungeon. We don't know if there are more than that. We know a little bit more about the economy of this world, I guess, as well. That the treasure is finite, I think that's how we pronounce it. Because that's kind of a big issue that never really gets addressed in fantasy shows and the mangas and light novels. If the dungeon gets replenished with monsters, gold, treasure, whatever, what does it do for world's economy? Right? If you can generate infinite wealth, where does it go? Could you just farm the dungeon for materials and pile them and create a space elevator because there's an infinite amount of materials? Or how does it work exactly? Look, Horizon kind of touched up on it, at least when it comes to currency. I'm glad that this show also solved it, and solved it in the simplest possible way. There's just a finite amount of it. Simple as. Simple as. Really, you don't need anything more. Also, we got a little bit more of what? A little bit more of backstory on Saito. We finally know how he got into the whole situation. Nothing particularly groundbreaking, but it doesn't have to be. It's not about how Saito got here, it's about the journey they're having right now. It's about the lives they're living right now, because that's what Saito likes. Although the implications of people from other worlds visiting this one not being uncommon is certainly interesting. But of course, most importantly, we got a setup for a bit of a more overarching story, or a bit of an arc of exploring the unexplored dungeon and finally interacting with other teams. That's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see more of the Elven Warrior. I can't wait to see more of the Mace Grandpa. I can't wait to see more of the Explosion Heavy Wizard. Those are probably my Explosion Wizard and Staff Grandpa are probably my favorite characters, and Elven Warrior and the Priestess Girl are probably the best team. I don't need to elaborate why. Okay, and also, of course, what's gonna become of the Heroes team? That's gonna be interesting. Seeing their incompetence, I'm assuming that's what we're gonna be seeing. Their incompetence. Fucking playing curling with frozen slime and fucking on screen. Yeah, this show does it for me. I love it. It's great. It's amazing. I hope more people watch it. I hope more people love it. Because it's great. It deserves it. Yeah, right now I think that's gonna be it. I don't have anything more to say. I'm looking forward to future episodes as always, but maybe you guys have something more to say, and if so, do say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. I know there's episode 4 already out. I know there's source material in the shape of manga, so no spoilers. If you do want to talk spoilers with other people who are familiar with the source material, Discord, it's here, right here. Also, the same link in the description. You can join it. There's a Benriya-san channel, and you can talk spoilers to your heart's content because I'm not gonna see them. Simple as, again. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Benriya Saitou-san, Benriya Saitou-san no Isekai, Benriya Saitou-san. Not only Benriya Saitou-san, but also Ooyukiumi no Kaina, also Symphogear. The OVAs are going to be releasing on YouTube shortly, and the concert livestream is gonna be next week-ish. And then we're getting on with the next season, the final one so far. And of course, other shows. Something's gonna take place of Gundam Witch from Mercury, so look forward to that as well. And I also stream sometimes. I might stream this weekend a little bit of Alchemy Stars. We'll see how that works out. And what's next? Support the channel if you want monetarily, Patreon or Throne, links in the description below. On Patreon, for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, Madoka, Magica, I'm still yet to watch Rebellion, and other non-seasonals, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord, a place in the credits, and sometimes I release seasonal shows a little bit early on that tier as well. If you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, but still want to help the channel, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel an awful lot. And now, with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today, and as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my current Patreon supporters. You can be one of them, and you don't need to be Isekai to achieve that.